On an ordinary Monday afternoon, the two girls did something they'd done a dozen times before. They went for a walk. What nobody knew, not the girls, not their families, not a single person in their small Indiana town, was that in Libby's back pocket, her phone was recording. And that recording would end up being watched by millions of people, studied by the FBI, played in a courtroom, and picked apart frame by frame for the next 7 years. Because somewhere on that walk, something happened. And Libby's phone caught almost all of it. That 43-second recording would be the last video ever captured of Abby and Libby alive. Libby German, was born on December 27, 2002, in Lafayette, Indiana. She was in 8th grade at Delphi Community Middle School. She played volleyball, softball, and soccer, and she swam too. Pretty much any sport with a ball or a pool, she was in. She was in the school band. She loved painting and doing crafts. She'd even signed up for the academic bowl team, just because she liked learning random facts. Her grandparents used to laugh about how you could always tell when Libby got home from school. There'd be a backpack dumped by the door, shoes kicked off in 2 different directions, and usually the smell of something baking, because she'd get distracted from homework by making cookies instead. Abigail Abby Williams was born on June 23, 2003. She was in 8th grade too, right alongside Libby. She played saxophone in the school band and was on the volleyball team with her best friend. She loved reading, camping, swimming, and riding ATVs. She loved being outdoors more than almost anything. Abby and Libby weren't just friends who happened to know each other. They were the kind of best friends who were basically sisters. The night before everything changed, Abby had slept over at Libby's house. The next morning, Libby's dad made the girls banana pancakes for breakfast. It was a school holiday. The weather was unusually warm for February, and the girls had the whole day free. That's who they were. 2 13- and 14-year-olds who liked sports and sleepovers and pancakes, looking forward to starting high school together that fall. Keep them in your mind as we go through the rest of this, because for the next 7 years, this case would become a national headline, a source of endless rumors, and one of the most talked about mysteries in America. But it started with 2 kids who just wanted to go for a walk. Delphi, Indiana is small. Really small. The kind of place with maybe 2 stoplights, where everyone either knows you personally or knows someone who does. People didn't lock their doors. Kids walked around town on their own, without anyone thinking twice about it. It's the kind of town most people picture when they imagine safe, small-town America. Just outside of town runs the Monon High Bridge Trail, a hiking path with an old abandoned railroad bridge that local kids like to visit. It was scenic, a little bit spooky because of the height of the bridge, and it was the kind of place teenagers went to hang out, take pictures, and just get outside. On February 13th, 2017, with school out for the day and unusually warm weather, Abby and Libby decided to go walk the trail. Libby's older sister dropped them off at the trailhead around 1:30 in the afternoon. The plan was simple: walk the trail, cross the bridge, and be back at the same spot by 3 p.m. to get picked up. They never made it back. While they were walking, Libby did what she always did. She pulled out her phone to record a little video, the kind of thing she made all the time, just capturing the moment. Except this time, the camera caught something the girls didn't expect. Behind them on the bridge, a man was walking. Not near them at first, just a distant figure. But as the video continues, he gets closer, following behind the girls at what looks like a deliberate pace. At one point, one of the girls seems to notice him and says something about the path. Then, right near the end of the video, before it cuts off, a man's voice comes through clearly, giving the girls an instruction. 2 words, down the hill. That video, 43 seconds long, is the last video anyone has of Abby and Libby alive. And for over 5 years, that grainy figure and that one recorded phrase were almost the only clues police had. When 3 p.m. came and went, with no sign of the girls, Libby's father went looking for them. He couldn't find them anywhere. As the sun went down and the temperature dropped, a simple case of the girls are running late turned into a full search, with family, neighbors, and eventually police combing the woods along the trail through the night. The next day, their bodies were found in a wooded area near a creek, not far from the bridge. A missing persons case had become a double homicide, and within days, it was a national headline. Almost immediately, Delphi stopped feeling like the town everyone thought they knew. If someone could grab 2 girls in broad daylight on a public trail and vanish without a trace, people reasoned that person could be anyone: a neighbor, a co-worker, the friendly guy at the gas station. Police released both the video and the audio to the public, hoping someone, anyone, would recognize the voice or the walk. They released a hand-drawn sketch of a possible suspect based on witness descriptions. Tens of thousands of tips poured in over the following months and years. None of them led to an arrest. In the meantime, rumors filled the silence. Some people were convinced the killer was a local landowner with a documented history of violence toward women. Investigators did look closely at him for a while, but they were never able to tie him to the crime with solid evidence, and he passed away years later without ever being charged. Others focused on a man who had been messaging Libby through a fake online profile in the weeks before her death, pretending to be someone he wasn't. That man was eventually convicted on serious child exploitation charges completely separate from this case, but investigators were never able to connect him to the actual murders either. Online, amateur internet detectives ran wild, posting side-by-side photo comparisons of random townspeople next to the blurry bridge guy video, based on nothing more than a passing resemblance. Families got death threats. A community that was already grieving started tearing itself apart with suspicion. None of those people were the killer. The real answer had actually been sitting in a filing cabinet the entire time. Here's the detail that makes this case especially unsettling. Just days after the murders, back in 2017, a local man walked into the police station on his own and told them, "I was on that trail the day the girls went missing. I don't know anything about what happened, but I wanted you to know I was there." His name was Richard Allen, a 50-year-old pharmacy technician who had lived in the Delphi area for years. Police took his statement as a routine witness account and filed it away. For more than 5 years, nobody connected him to anything. Then, in 2022, someone reviewing old case files noticed his name had been misspelled when it was originally entered into the system. A simple clerical mistake that meant his statement had essentially never been properly cross-checked. When detectives pulled the file and looked again, something jumped out. The clothing Allen had described wearing that day, blue jeans and a blue jacket, matched the general description witnesses gave of Bridge Guy. That single correction reopened everything. Back in 2017, when crime scene investigators first processed the area where the girls' bodies were found, they collected something small, one unfired .40 caliber bullet. Here's a simple way to understand why that mattered. Every gun, when you load and unload a bullet from it, leaves tiny scratch marks on the metal, marks that are specific to that exact gun, almost like a fingerprint. No two guns leave the same marks. When investigators searched Richard Allen's house in October 2022, they found a ball, .40 caliber handgun. They sent both the gun and the old bullet to a forensic lab for testing. The scratch marks matched. A single bullet that had sat quietly in an evidence room for more than 5 years turned out to be one of the most important pieces of evidence in the entire case. When police brought Richard Allen in for formal questioning in October 2022, his story started to unravel. He confirmed he'd been on the trail that day. He confirmed the clothing description matched what he remembered wearing. But when detectives asked simple follow-up questions, like which of his 2 cars he'd driven that day, he struggled to give a clear answer, which is unusual for a day most people would remember vividly, especially once it became connected to a major police investigation. When shown a still image from Libby's video and asked directly if it was him, Allen denied it. But as investigators laid out the matching bullet, the matching clothing, and witness accounts placing a man matching his description on the bridge that day, his answers grew increasingly defensive. He was arrested on October 13, 2022, more than 5.5 years after the murders. Richard Allen never gave police a clean, direct confession in that interrogation room. But prosecutors say the real turning point came later, from something Allen didn't seem to think through: recorded phone calls from jail.
Sorry, baby. Just one more thing I fucked up for you.
What's going on, sweetheart?
I did it.
You did
No,
what?
I did it.
What?
I killed Abby and Libby.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't, Darren.
Yes, I did.
Don't say
I don't know why.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Darren. You're not feeling well. There's something wrong. They've messed up your meds or something there.
No, I mean, I evidently did it.
No, you didn't. Why would you say that?
Because maybe I did.
No, you didn't, dear.
I think I did.
I need to tell you something anyway.
Okay. Are you sure you want to talk to me over the phone?
I think I have to.
Okay.
I need you to know that I did this.
What? No. No, you didn't, dear. No way. There's no way, dear.
Love me.
Dear, there's no way. Okay.
Because I may only, if I get the electric chair, or if I get the death penalty.
No. No, honey, that's not going to happen. No.
If it does, will you be there for me?
It's never going to happen, dear.
Do what?
Nothing. This isn't right. They messed you up so bad.
It's okay, honey. I did it. I did it, dear.
Stop.
I cannot stop. I've got somebody here listening to me right now, dear.
No. I did it.
I killed Abby, dear.
No, you didn't. Stop.
But just saying it doesn't mean you did it.
Well, it does when I did.
Rick, don't talk like this. I think they're just messing with you.
No, Mom, they're not. I love you, though.
What are you doing? I just know you don't have it in you to do something like that.
I wouldn't sit here and tell you I did it if I didn't.
Well, if they're messing with your meds and all that, yeah, you would. But we're not going to discuss the case anymore.
So if I did do it, then you guys don't love me anymore?
I will always love you no matter what.
Every single time that jail calls are recorded, Alan made these calls anyway, in multiple separate calls to his wife and mother. According to testimony at trial, Alan said he was responsible for the murders. Combined with the bullet, the clothing, and the fact that he had placed himself at the scene from the very beginning, the case against Richard Allen became, in the eyes of prosecutors, very hard to explain away. The trial began in the fall of 2024, more than 7 years after Abby and Libby were killed. Prosecutors walked the jury through the full timeline. Alan's own statement placing him on the trail, the matching clothing description, the ballistics match on the bullet, and the recorded jailhouse phone calls. The defense pushed back hard. They argued there was no DNA directly tying Alan to the crime scene, and that the video and audio quality of Bridge Guy was too poor to make a certain identification. At one point, the defense even suggested the killings might be connected to a fringe ritualistic group, a theory that got enormous public attention online, but ultimately wasn't what swayed the jury. After close to 20 hours of deliberation, jurors specifically asked to review certain pieces of evidence one more time, including an enhanced version of the Bridge Guy video and audio. After watching it again, they reached a verdict: guilty on all counts. Richard Allen was later sentenced to more than 130 years in prison. Even with a conviction, this case isn't entirely closed in the public eye. Allen's defense team has filed appeals, arguing certain evidence should never have been allowed at trial. Those appeals are still working their way through the courts. For the town of Delphi, the last several years brought a strange kind of double grief, not just losing 2 young girls, but living for over 5 years without knowing who took them, surrounded by rumors, false suspects, and a media storm that sometimes seemed to forget there were 2 real kids at the center of it all. What finally cracked the case wasn't some dramatic twist. It was a misspelled name in an old file, a bullet that sat quietly in storage for over 5 years, and a man who couldn't stop talking about what he'd done, even when he knew someone was listening. I don't want Abby and Libby to be remembered as just the girls from the bridge video. I want people to remember Libby's cookies and how she could make anyone laugh. I want people to remember Libby's smile and how she loved being outside more than almost anything. 2 8th graders who had a sleepover ate banana pancakes and went for a walk on their day off. That's who they were before any of this happened, and that's who they still deserve to be remembered as. If this case affected you, share this video with someone who should hear about it. And if you want more stories told the right way, make sure you're subscribed. There's more where this came from.